Hey there everyone, Scapegoat Stephen back with another video match report. This time it's the first in our new league season in the Fanit Ball League. I carried on with Union this league. I'm looking to pick up either engineers or farmers, sorry not farmers, engineers or shepherds even, following this league, probably on the shepherds release. So without further ado, we get to watch some Midas Alchemists versus Veteran Greede Union. So, on the left hand side we've got the Alchemists, and on the right hand side we have the Union, and Union are kicking in this regard. So, you've got Midas, Veteran Catalyst, Crucible, Cami, Flask and Vitriol versus Rage, Grace, Veteran Captain Greede, Minx who's kicking, and Fangtooth. So as you can see, Minx is going for a nice old long jog that way, because I was looking at it and I didn't really fancy kicking towards Vitriol and Cami, so I thought I would punt it Midas's way. So Minx is accurate with her kick, and she kicks 3 inches to the fore, which scatters it out to the quite wide actually, which I think is going to force Midas to be the one who goes and collects the ball, which to be honest I'm happy wasting Midas's first turn. So Midas is going to sprint round that piece of cover to go get the ball. What he wants here is he ideally wants to get Veteran Catalyst pulled forward so that Veteran Catalyst can do Veteran Catalyst things and just murder as many people as possible. Generally speaking, the Alchemists are probably aiming to go 3-0, 3 goals, but Catalyst can help them swing that towards a 2-2 game. So Midas sprints, passes to Veteran Catalyst, and then Lure of Gold's Veteran Catalyst forward, just to pull him up into threat range of Minx, although he's also in Minx's threat range, because they've got the same threat range, at least on a charge. And puts him, I believe, in the cover as well, next to Midas, yeah. But he does have the ball, crucially. So, looking at it and going, well, he can actually just jog and start punching Minx. But I'm going to take the risk that he won't be able to kill Minx, and I'm going to put Greede in a threatening position. So Greede is going to use forward minions, catches everyone, and that's it. She's going to go for a jog. Save a second activation, perhaps for later. Catalyst can't quite pass to a member of the team, so he's going to pass to space. The ball ends up being snapped by Cami, and Catalyst in the end decides to go for a long charge into Veteran Greede. Now I'm not sure if this was the wise option, because at this stage Greede is in the middle of my team. The rest of the team have yet to activate, and it just gives me a lot of momentum to start pulling. I perhaps would have left Catalyst for a couple more turns and then gone into Minx, or even just gone into Minx and stayed out of the way of some of my other players. I do declare, I believe, a counter attack, but he calls the non-momentous knockdown just to stop me basically knocking him down in return on the counter attack. So Fangtooth's going to jog, and he's just going to attack Veteran Catalyst, and he's going to take the momentous knockdown, and then in a minute we'll remember about the old burst of fumes where I take 2 damage and poison, just not that it matters so much on Fangtooth. Fangtooth was literally here as a knockdown model this particular first turn, hence why I only put 1 influence on him. So Flask Beaker Keepers Crucible bimbles forward and throws a smoke cloud out. Rage is just going to charge Veteran Catalyst because it seems smart, and he does really well because I currently have 2 gang ups and the charge, and I believe I might even actually forget about oh no, I do remember that I have shelling out. So we go charging in, we do a momentous 3 and wrap to a momentous 3. We can get Berserk attack, scoring a momentous 3. We then buy another attack and get a momentous 3, and then we Berserk to another momentous 3, wrapping to the momentous 1. So we do a ton of damage, put bleed out, as you can see, pile of momentum, and then we're going to spend 2 to clear conditions on Greede, so he's no longer knocked down, and then we're going to clear conditions on Fangtooth. We're going to heroic to give tooled up to Greede, and then take the 2 damage and poison when I end my activation, engaging Veteran Catalyst. It gives me another gang up from Veteran Catalyst. It leaves Greede free to go do Greede things. It also gives me 2 damage buffs on Greede if he charges, which thought I would give a go because I've never tried it before, although I believe this is only my third game with Veteran Greede. I think most of my games with Greede are on the channel, bar one that I played at home as a test game just to get an idea as to where the positioning goes. So it might be game 4 perhaps. So not a huge amount of games with him, but he seems to work quite well. So Cammy, he's going to pass to Vitriol. Vitriol dodges 4 inches, and then Cammy sprints to block Greede's charge lane, basically, to Vitriol. So Grace is going to go. Grace is going to talisman to put a quick foot via rage onto Minx. She's then going to go jog and punch Veteran Catalyst twice. She managed to score a momentous 2, wrapping to a momentous 2 on the first attack, and then I realised, oh, he's got really low health, and at this stage I don't want to kill him because he's got bleed, and I want to kill him at the top of the next turn. So my second attack does a momentous dodge, momentous double dodge, wrapping to a momentous dodge, just to again build up that pile of momentum, and then she backs out a little bit so she doesn't take the poison and condition damage. Vitriol is going to pass to Crucible because she realises she can't get in on the goal, and then she's going to jog forward. Greede's going to charge Vitriol. He's just looking at her going, you know what, I've got a lowish knockdown and I might be able to do a bit of damage, so let's go for it. He does go for the bonus time. My opponent doesn't declare any sort of abilities, and I'm going to go sit in his own smoke cloud for some cover. So I managed to score a momentous 3 up to 5 due to Lance and Tooled Up, and then my follow-up attack I get a non-momentous knockdown. Crucible's going to go. She's going to acrobatics using Beaker Keeper, then she's going to sprint and attack Greede. He does declare a counter attack on her. He's just sort of fiddling about with the end position of where Crucible's going to go. Because again, he knows he can't quite get into range to score a goal. So he does nothing. He manages to not roll any successes on the attack, and my counter attack is a knockdown. So it scatters the ball to the other side of Vitriol down towards that piece of scenery. So Minx has a double speed buff, so she's going to go for a casual 11-inch jog. That's 10 inches in the widget, so I've got a bit to play with. She's then going to attack the knockdown ganged up on by Greede Crucible. She gets the momentous 4 double dodge snared, although I completely forget about snared during this entire activation. She then gets a momentous 3 damage dodge, followed with a momentous 1 damage dodge wrap. She then does a momentous 1 damage, followed by a momentous 3 damage wrap to the 1 damage. She clears conditions on rage, and she backs to the shadows to go engage Veteran Catalyst. And that, I believe, is the end of the turn. So Veteran Catalyst and Crucible are both on about 2 health, and set up to die top of the turn. Alchemists have 2 momentum, I have 9 momentum. So Alchemists play Never Say Die, good choice. So they're going to get 2 momentum every time I score a takeout, and I have Give Me 110%, which gives me 2 extra momentum, influence even, to play with this turn. So, unsurprising to no one, I am going to activate Minx first this turn. As I said, Veteran Catalyst and Crucible are both on very, very low hit points. Crucible is currently a 2-0, Catalyst is currently a 2-1, 1-1, sorry, because of the knockdown. So it's going to go quite badly, although it is going to net my opponent a bunch of momentum. And I need to kill Catalyst, because otherwise he's just going to do a load of damage to a bunch of my players. So Minx attacks Veteran Catalyst, gets the momentous 3 damage dodge, so that's a takeout, goes 2-0 in favour of the Union. She dodges to engage Crucible, and scores a momentous 4 damage double dodge takeout, takes us to 4 in favour of the Union. She's then going to jog to snap the ball and engage Vitriol. She's going to make a bonus timed attack and score absolutely nothing on a what is she, a 4-0 engaged by Greede. I'm then going to do another bonus time attack, get a momentous 3 damage, dodge, snared, and I'm back to the shadows away. So Vitriol's going to go, she's going to clear conditions, and she's going to jog, stay engaged by Greede, outside of Minx's melee, but engaging her because she's got 2-inch melee. She buys an attack on Minx, manages to score that momentous tackle, and then decides, does he want to pass back to someone? And no, it makes sense, go for the goal here. Got the range, slots one in, even with the engagement by Greede. So it puts it to 4-4, so even pegging, although my opponent is 2 players down. Midas is massively out on a wing, although anyone who's played against Alchemists knows they're not exactly slow. So let's see how this develops from here. So the kick out ends up on Grace, who does snap the ball, and Grace is going to activate next. She is going to quick foot Fang Tooth Fire Talisman, and then jog back to be in cover of the goal. My opponent spends a little while trying to figure out, can he get in with Midas, or does he want to get in with Midas, given that I have both resilience and the aura of rough ground around Fangtooth. So it's going to be costly just to get in, and even then his actual attack doesn't do anything to start with. It just pops my resilience, and I've got the momentum to do a counter attack. It doesn't really want to knock down Midas within 1 inch of a bunch of my players. So in the end he goes for Cammy, charges Greede. Greede does both defensive stance and counter attack this. She scores a momentous double dodge. And she does, again we forget to put the conditions out, but we do backtrack in a second and do it. And she puts out fire on Grace with her gunshots. She is still in Greede's melee range, so he counterattacks and he just pulls her back a little bit so she can't get an easy dodge and teleport to Grace. I do debate whether or not the knockdown would have been a smart move, but again that's just using momentum, so I'll do the push, pull him back towards me. She attacks Minx, hits every single dice, which is nice, gets the double dodge. And puts poison out on Minx, I believe, at this point. And then pulls Burning off Grace to teleport base to base with Grace. This is her last momentum though, so influence even, sorry. So she makes the attack on Grace, gets the momentous tackle, puts the fire back on Grace, heals Vitriol, and then is just sat there with the ball because she can't shoot. So a little bit unfortunate for her. Could have been a second goal, this activation, but not quite. So what to do now with anyone? So Fangtooth is going to heroic because he can't actually just jog his 6 inches to reach Vitriol, sadly. So he's going to heroic, go for a jog, which then puts him up to 8 inches of jog, so easy. There's 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, base to base. He chooses the momentous knockdown on the first attack. He's then going to choose a momentous 4, up to 5 because of the heroic, and then a momentous double push just so she is engaged by Minx. Midas decides now is the time to go. He wants to try and pull Cammy out of the danger zone a little bit there and get her sort of away from a whole spread of my players. So he's just debating how he does that because he's going to need to use Lure of Gold to do it. We're looking at, he's going to need to get a Where'd They Go or buy a Where They'd Go off the playbook. As you can see, we're just sort of talking about what's Greede's threat range, what can Greede do. What I did decide at this stage was I didn't want to kill any more of the Alchemists this turn. I wanted to set them up for next turn because I didn't want to be giving them more momentum, because frankly they've got enough already and I would like to win initiative. So I was just going to, the rest of my turn is just going to be about setting up my opponent's models for next turn. So Midas does get a knockdown on rage on the charge. He does select where they'd go, and then we do a bit of finagling here. We probably should have proxied this out with steppers, so apologies that we didn't do that originally. But in the end, I decided, you know what, let's just say Cammy's in. It's easier than trying to scale back stuff. So he does Lure of Gold Cammy to pull her back towards him. He then legendaries and hits my entire team because I've ganged everyone up around each other, which is unfortunately the way of Union at the moment. They tend to be a little bit more of a killy guild, but they require gang ups and setup to do it. So trying to decide who to go with next, I in the end choose Rage. Rage is going to clear conditions and charge Cammy. Midas chooses to unpredictable movement backwards, so I can't then divert attacks into him. I select nothing apparently. I get no hits on my charge, and Cammy had declared a counter attack, and she double dodges away. So Rage is a bit of a sad panda at all of that. Flask is going to go. It's going to bimble forward. And then Rage is going to take his second activation, thank you Greede, and he's going to charge Midas. He's also going to engage Cammy. He chooses to bonus time the attack, and I think my opponent declares a counter attack, so I choose the non-momentous knockdown. Tool myself up, buy an attack on Midas, momentous 2 up to 3, and the berserk attack does a momentous 1 up to 2, and he is bleeding. That just leaves me with Greede. Greede clears conditions on self, charges Midas, does a momentous 3 up to 4, and then buys another attack on Midas, and just does a momentous push. Decides that actually we need to be attacking Cammy really, because Cammy's got full health. Score a non-momentous knockdown. Ball scatters and snaps on Rage. I then buy 3 attacks on Midas, which in hindsight maybe I should have just bought a bunch of attacks on Cammy because she's got more health currently. I end up doing a momentous push, a momentous push, and a momentous push, just to make sure that I win initiative. So as you can see, Midas currently is on about 5 HP, I think. So once the bleed kicks in, he'll be on 2. So that's the end of that turn. Still 4 all. Alchemists have 2 momentum, Union have 6. Alchemists choose hit 'em where it hurts, and the Union use pass out the orange slices just to mitigate some of that 3 condition damage that's coming out on a lot of my players. And I think I've got 2 or 3 more kills in the bag here. Vitriol's pretty much dead. I think she's again a 1 hit and she's gone sort of job. I think she's on about 2 HP. Midas is on low enough that even with unpredictable movement I could axe throw and kill him. So it's just a case of dealing with Cammy. I've got plenty of influence spread around, plenty of BT models to do that. And then it's just a case of finding another 2 points somewhere. So plan starts pretty well. We are going to start with Minx. You know, she's got a knockdown Vitriol who's got a gang up. And I believe, yeah, I'm also in the shelling out aura, so I'm going to be rolling like 7 dice on a 4-0, and I need like 2 damage, which is on her 2, sorry, 4-0, because she's a 5-0 normally. Score that, momentous 2 damage dodge, takes me up to 6-4. Clear conditions on self, jogs to engage Midas and Cammy. Opponent chooses not to unpredictable movement because I can just axe throw him and kill him. So Cammy attacks Midas, does a momentous 3 damage, gets another takeout, takes to 4-8 in favour of the Union, and then throws 2 attacks into Cammy. We get a momentous 4 damage dodge, snared, wrapping to the 1 damage. Oh, nasty start. And then we get a bonus timed attack doing a momentous 4 damage, which leaves her on 3 health. Cammy decides she does not like being here on 3 health, so she's going to clear conditions, steal poison off Rage to teleport base to base. Realises he's going to have to be engaging Minx if they want to tackle and shoot and score, so you have to sort of like edge them back round just to make sure. I do manage the momentous tackle, but I did declare a counter attack, so I do bonus time the counter attack, and then there's a little bit of discussion here where I say, oh, maybe I'll just concussion you to remove your last point of influence, and my opponent says you might as well just do the 3 damage and kill me, which made sense. So 4-10 in favour of the Union. The ball scatters the other side, actually back towards the two Alchemist players that have come on the top of the pitch. Rage is going to activate next. He's going to back off, so he's sort of in a prime position for charging in later in the turn. And now my opponent's going to spend quite some time measuring out, can Crucible get a goal run? You know, she'll sprint, she'll do the acrobatics, all of that jazz. Essentially, it's going to boil down to no. Unfortunately, we proxy it out. He is just like a hair's breadth away from the goal, no matter what permutation we try. It's a little bit unfortunate, but it would have also then put Crucible, although Crucible could have dodged 4 backwards. Yeah, so unfortunately, look, as you can just about see, literally a hair's breadth out of the goal. And no matter what we do to try and see, can he get in, it's not in. So in the end, Crucible decides to sprint, pass the ball to Veteran Catalyst, and then acrobatics, and then heals herself by 4. So Rage goes, yeah, right, I'll have your Crucible. Goes for a charge, does put himself in the shelling out aura. Bear in mind, Crucible is in the cover and does declare a counter attack. And she's got loads of dodges. So I'm going to go with a bonus time attack on the charge, actually. And I'm going to have to take the knockdown, because I don't want her running away, because I want Greede to go kill her. So I then do a follow-up attack with a bonus time, get a momentous 3 damage bleed, and then a berserk attack with bonus time for a momentous 3 damage. Probably in hindsight could have chosen to tool him up at some point, but just wanted the momentum just in case. So Veteran Cat is going to charge Rage, who is going to defensive stance, and essentially at some point is, with all of Catalyst rules, is going to score 4 damage on Rage momentously. It's also worth pointing out that my opponent will award me a clock point when he ends the activation with Catalyst, which takes me up to 11, so it's 11-4 in favour of the Union. Oh, I believe he has a second attack as well, and essentially does another 4 damage, but it doesn't do anything to Rage. So with Greede now, I was looking at, can I push Catalyst out the way and just go kill Crucible for the win? So actually look at how many dice I'm rolling. So I've got Shelling Out, Lance Rule, bonus time, and a Gang Up from Rage on Crucible, on Catalyst. It's 14 dice, 2 misses, 1 armour, is a non-momentous 4 up to 5, wrapping to the non-momentous 4 up to 5, and then wrapping again to the non-momentous 1 up to 2, which does 12 damage and takes out Catalyst. Wow. So 4-13 in favour of the Union.